looking back. I was kissed under a dying tree where the soul's laid underground. And the more you feel, the more you fear what comes around.
Hey guys, how is it going? Welcome to Thursday. It is another Transformers Earth Wars stream, and I have some special, well, semi-special guests. Like one special one and one not so special guest.
Hi, Deb.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
I'm Deb. We are streaming out of the Space Ape London studio because we might have some new people joining us today, so hello to you. We'll do some shout-outs in just a second, but first I'll introduce my guests. This here is Andrew. He runs the events in game. So all those fun events that you guys see on the weekend that you take part in, either individually or with your alliances, that's what he's about. And this, more importantly, is Chris, and he is the product owner of the game Transformers Earth Wars. He's also a giant Transformers Earth Wars geek, so he knows pretty much everything. I say geek in a positive way because technically we're all geeks. So.
Let's see about that. But yeah, thanks for joining the stream.
Yes. So maybe first off, Chris, tell them a little bit about what you do, and then Andrew, do the same.
Yeah, so I've worked on Transformers Earth Wars for the last couple of years, really. Managed the team, taking it through development from the early stages when there was just a small group of us thinking about what the game could be, and I'm still on the project now, working on a lot of the new features. So obviously last year we launched Combiners. This year we're launching factions that we'll talk a little bit more about in a minute, and we've got plenty more lined up throughout the year as well. So whereas Andrew focuses more on the event side of things, I focus more on the features that are coming in the new builds.
That's right. Okay, well, I guess you've already covered Andrew, so we don't need to go over him. I'm kidding.
Wow, this is going to be a great show. I'm really going to enjoy this.
I kid.
So while Chris was doing all his production on Transformers, I was over on Rival Kingdoms. So once we got close to launch, I came over to Transformers, and I've been doing all the events and things like that. So more of a content-driven stuff.
That's
Cool.
right. So today, of course, we are going to be talking about our brand new feature in the game called Factions, and we're going to get to that in just a second. But first, let's say hello, and then we'll go deep dive into how you can actually start playing with bots from the opposing faction, and we'll give you an overview of what Factions actually means. So, all right, let's say hello to some people. I'll start at the bottom, and we're not gonna make it through everybody, but we'll definitely shout out at least some. Andrew's gonna start with some people over here.
What? Oh, I was going to say hello to Primetime6969 because they like your shirt, Chris.
All right, nice. Yeah,
I like that shirt too.
It took me a long time to get a t-shirt.
I know.
Like this.
Actually,
Yeah.
even we can't get these shirts.
Do you have one of these shirts?
No, I didn't
have
go to
one
the
of those
convention.
shirts.
So.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
We've got Tuna Sub 514. How's it going? We've got Cookietron, Jonimus Prime, Wyvo, the Booster Bot. We've got another Cat Few. Hello. Lovesman, Magical Moth, D Magius, Yash. What's up? Scourge, Han Solo, Joe Crap the Bottom. I like it. I wonder if Ass Blaster's joining us today. We've got Rohit 2241, Sunstreaka Waza. I now remember how to pronounce your name. Jeremy Jaburin, hello. Always nice to see you as well. Fury963. We've got Keek. We've got Change Winds. We've got Flame Striker. I assume we have Metaron. Yes, we do. Oh, are you saying we're not live on Mobperch, but we should be live?
You'd make a great bingo caller, Debs.
What's that?
Yeah.
Would I?
Apparently, Deb doesn't have to breathe.
But yeah, hello to Metaron as well, and PB 088, who's always around. Hello. Who else we got? We have Michael Pierce, we have Crosscut, we have Grand Galvatron, we have Joe Hudson, Hayes the Maze, Alejandro Corona, I like it. We've got Lance Holcomb, we've got 7105 Tim, we've got Zeta Prime, something that I cannot pronounce unfortunately because it looks like maybe Russian, could be. We have, I always like these ones. Akakase Mitsumoto Nanami and Seki Daichi and Shingawa. Always fighting. Mess of the universe. I like it. We've got Andrew Ligo, the Grand Knight, lots more. Also, let's see, we have got Freddie Voorhees, we've got Neil Kirby, we've got Arjun Milou, Justin, Michael Hang, just Justin. He's like Madonna. No, I just didn't have time to read the last name before I went away. Justin Paris. There we go. We've got Matt Cup. Hey, Matt, how's it going? Nice to see you, always. So yeah, we'll do some more shout outs a bit later on. If you want to like shout out your alliance later, we'll have like 5 minutes of alliance shout outs.
Good. Okay.
It's just really awkward for us because she's just like ranting away and we're just like, just kind of sitting here.
They'll be ranting away in a second.
Yeah, we will.
So, right before we get into factions, you will have seen in the trailer that we just showed you that it ends with the words at the same time. So, the big thing for this is that you can be a hero, you can be a villain, or you can be both, at the same time, because you now get to have bots from both factions. So what we thought would be fun to do is we have uploaded that text at the same time to our wiki. I will give you the link in just a second. You can grab the PNG from there at the same time, and then we want to see it over your photos of you doing two things at the same time. And like the weirder or funnier, like the better, of course, because that's how we roll. I'll give you an example. As you may have noticed, Adam is not here, but he's here in spirit, and he's here in photo, I guess. So this is Adam riding a scooter and blowing bubbles at the same time. So this is sort of the example of what we like to see. You guys can go nuts, show us what you will be doing at the same time, and then tweet at us at Transformers War. That's our Twitter handle. So yeah, go ahead and tweet us. We're gonna choose some people, some of our favorites. And next week during the live stream, we are actually going to give out some crystals from the opposing faction to the people's photos, I guess, that we like the best. But when you are putting those photos on Twitter, at Transformers War is the handle, and then hashtag at the same time. And don't forget to include your in-game name, your alliance, and your faction. So we need to know the faction that you're currently a part of. Otherwise, you might get a crystal for the faction that you already have. So make sure to include those three things. We'll go over that again later, and we'll show you that photo of Adam again as well. And a bit later on in the stream, we'll also tell you another way that you can win some crystals from the opposing faction. But without any further ado, let's talk about factions. Can you give them an overview of what this means, and then we'll go to a little how-to and we can show it to them.
Sure. So factions is a pretty exciting feature. For the first time in Transformers Earth Wars, you're going to be able to unlock pretty much every boss in the game. So that means you'll be able to have an extra 35 bots from the opposing side. Really, like, the advantage of this when you're playing the game, it means that when you're playing events and when you're playing PvP, you'll have more squads. You'll be able to see for the first time all the bots that you didn't get to experience before. And in some cases as well, you'll get to hear a little bit of the Earth War story from both sides as well when you're unlocking these bots and leveling them up. So yeah, it's really your first chance to use the team that you've never had before and see how they perform in battle and see what they're like. So if we get the screen up, I can show.
Yeah, are we ready?
We are ready, I think. So
okay,
let's do it.
There you go.
So the first thing to note about this feature, it unlocks at HQ level 8. So when you get to level 8, you'll notice that there's an additional tab in your team screen. There's now one for Autobots and one for Decepticons. So when you hit level 8, you'll get a little pop-up like this. I'm an Autobot player, so you'll see Decepticons unlocked, and it will tell you a little bit about how you can go about unlocking these Decepticon squads. Now, when you reach this level, you will actually get given a Decepticon crystal.
I want to move the mic.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Good. When you reach this level, you'll be given a Decepticon crystal, which you can claim through the achievements. Just claiming that there.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to go and use this in the space bridge. Now,
Sorry,
if we look at the first crystal that you're given, you'll see you're given 4 of them. and you're immediately given a squad of Decepticons. So I'm going to get, as an Autobot player, Megatron, Starscream, Hook, and Bludgeon. So just going to open these guys up now, and then I'm going to be able to take them to battle and show you how they can be used. So here's Megatron. And obviously on the Autobot side, you'll get the equivalent of these bots. So you'll be getting Optimus Prime, Jetfire, Ironhide, and who's the last one?
Ratchet?
Ratchet, I think, yes.
Ratchet.
That's Bludgeon. Okay. And then finally, yes, Hook on the Decepticon side, the healer. So it's a nice balanced squad. It's everything you'll need to start battling. So if I just go back. So now if I go to battle by pressing the battle button, attack a rival player, you'll see in here that here's my primary squad of Autobots. But if I go to the right, what I can actually start doing is picking a squad of Decepticons. So let's put Megatron in, let's put Hook in, let's put Blastoff, let's put Bludgeon, and let's put Starscream. So you can pick at any one time, it's either a team of Autobots or either a team of Decepticons. You can't mix and match the sides. The reason for this is actually one of gameplay balancing. Like, we wouldn't want you to have a squad, for example, of 4 healers. It could get kind of weird, and I think it would make Adam's job a lot more difficult if he was here. He'd
No
probably,
jazz plus mix masters.
yeah,
That's too OP.
he'd probably back me up on that. Okay, so we take them into battle. You'll notice all the UI changes to the Decepticon colours as well to remind you that you're in this mode of the game, and you'll see some of the imagery that you don't normally get to see. And here I am attacking an Autobot base, even though I'm an Autobot, but with my Decepticons. So let's send these guys in. Obviously, this is a pretty easy base, so if I don't beat it, then I'm going to look like I really suck. And just...
Well, I mean, they're not leveled at all, right? You just got brand new bots, no experience, no levels, no upgraded skills. I mean, I cut you some slack.
Well, let's hope that I do beat it, because otherwise it's going to be very, very embarrassing.
I think you can still beat
Here's
it.
fingers crossed.
Yeah, let's do this.
Oh, Cricket Crazen! Hey, I just turned to the chat when you came on board. Always nice to see you.
Cool.
By the way, guys, we will answer your questions, of course, about this new feature as well. I'm just gonna, let Chris run through it, and then we're gonna go through some Q&A.
So there you go.
ahead.
Like you complete the battle. If you can't hear audio, hopefully you can. You've actually got the complete set of Decepticon voices. So for the first time, you'll either hear Optimus's or Megatron's voice. So it's like playing the game from the other side, and you're leveling your bots up. Now, one thing that we were quite keen to do in development is ensure that, by the time you've reached HQ8, you're quite far into the game. And we made the decision that we didn't want you to have 2 separate sets of bases. And the reason for that would be, it would be kind of like if I'm a high level player and then I have to start the game again and build a new base. I don't know. I don't think that's really what I want to be doing. I want to be making my own base stronger, and I want to be contributing to my own team's strength. So we actually made the decision to give you both sets of bots at exactly the same time. And this is really, you can see this as a gameplay mode as much as anything. You're bringing the resources back to your own base. So the alloy you're collecting, the energy you're collecting from battle, you can use for anything you want when you bring it back to your base. You can use it to research Autobots or Decepticons or whatever. So yeah, and obviously if I go to my team screen now, I can see these bots in there, much as you'd expect. Obviously, if you own Megatron already, it won't be really that exciting, but I'm an Autobot player, so it's pretty cool seeing him for the first time as part of my squad. The other thing to note, in the shop, so in the shop, the crystal section is now divided into 2 parts when you reach HQ8. There's an Autobot section and a Decepticon section, so you can choose which bots that you want to go for. If you really wanted to, you could never ever decide to go for the other side. You could just live your life out as an Autobot or a Decepticon and not worry about those guys at all. But clearly there's an advantage to bringing some of the best Decepticons or Autobots to your overall team, because you can play more, you can take stronger teams into battle, you can do better at events and all these other things. So if I go to the Decepticon crystal section of the shop here, you can see in there I've got the ability to buy the premium crystal. I've got the 2, the 3, the 4 and the 5-star crystal. Now, one thing to note is that the shards are shared between the two factions. So if you've already got Autobot shards, if you want to, you can use these towards the Decepticon crystals. So for example, if I wanted to get a 3-star Decepticon crystal, I can use my existing shards to do that. And then I can go to the space bridge, open that crystal up. So there's a lot of sharing between the two sides. So essentially, you can convert both of these things over if you want to. Getting the crystals for the first time as well. Like if I buy 10 crystals, the nice thing about this is because there's 35 overall characters that you can get. You should be getting a lot of new bots when you get these crystals. So it's a nice way of instantly getting a huge number of new bots onto your squad. So yeah, let's just see who I'm going to get. Awesome. Scourge.
So guys, I am taking note of your questions, so feel free to throw them in chat. Obviously, we probably can't answer all of them, but I'm sure a lot of you will have similar questions. So Chris, when you're ready, I will
Sure.
start.
Yeah, just a couple more things, I suppose, to talk about with factions before we move on to questions.
Yes, go for it.
The two places where you can't use your faction bots, one's on the outpost, mainly because it would be a little bit odd to have an Autobot base defended by Decepticons. And the next part is in the Alliance War itself. Reason being, as an Alliance, we want you always to be playing as your own faction. It's always Autobots versus Decepticons.
Right.
So in PvP battles and events, they're completely usable. Cool. So yeah, shall we
Let's dive
move
in.
to questions?
So, Jason Kopinen is asking, can you do weekend events in the opposite faction to earn Decepticon crystals? So, I think you did mention about Alliance Wars, but maybe reiterate that bit.
Yeah, so as things stand at launch, like you will be able to use the opposite faction in events. However, you will still be playing like as your own faction, so you won't be able to get the opposing faction's reward. However, it's something like we are definitely considering, but we're not launching with that functionality basically.
Yeah.
So we want to see if people are interested in the feature first of all. Like, is this something that excites people as much as we think it's going to? And if it does, then we'll roll it out more widely. And who knows? Maybe we'll do events where you can select which bot you're going to receive and all sorts. There's plenty of options with where we can take it.
Hunter is asking, Hunter rather, do you hit the opposite faction when you use other faction bots?
Do you hit the opposite faction when you use other faction bots? No, so you will always be fighting Autobot versus Decepticon or Decepticon versus Autobots. So you'll never have a situation where Optimus is fighting Optimus, for example.
Got it. William Allen Eckley is asking, can you mix Autobot base with a Decepticon guard, which is kind of what you were saying.
No, you can't do that.
No. DDog2432, what if they already have 2 accounts?
If you already have 2 accounts, then you can carry on playing and using those accounts as is, like that's perfectly fine. I guess the advantage with this feature is if you hadn't started 2 accounts, then you now have the ability to, strengthen your existing account with almost double the number of bots.
And a question about how you actually go about acquiring the alternate faction bots.
In terms of acquiring them, you can do it in a number of ways. So obviously, first of all, you'll get awarded 4 bots when you hit HQ8. Secondly, you can use your existing crystal shards towards the crystals in the shop. And thirdly, you can use cyber coins as well. We may have other ways of obtaining them in the future, but at launch, those are the 3 main methods we'll have.
Max Barker's asking, will this mean that bases will be attacked more?
So that would still depend on matchmaking. So if someone is, in HQ6, it doesn't mean that, and they do 10 battles a day, then there's still 10 battles a day happening. So it'll depend on the matchmaking and what faction they choose, but it won't necessarily mean that you get attacked more.
Yeah. It will mean, in theory, you can do more battles, I think, and it also means for your squad slots as well, if you only have a few unlocked, it will be easier to unlock more squad slots because suddenly it's going to be easier to get a whole new load of bots as well.
I'm just going to answer this question about the A slot. The A slot is not coming because it's just being spammed. So it's a development build. It's just something we can do in staging on our development build. It's not intended for live, so sorry guys.
Yes. No. Yeah, that's definitely come up before. No. Anything you see on this environment which looks untoward probably is just because it's a testing environment, so it doesn't mean that it's on a live build. There was a question about when will the feature be releasing.
Well, that is a very good question, something
Yeah.
I completely didn't even bother talking about. So let's talk about that now. So the feature will actually be going live this time next week, so Thursday next week. If you've looked at the App Store or Play Store, you'll have actually seen that the build is beginning to roll out. So the build's there, the feature's not turned on yet, so feel free to go ahead and download it so that you're poised and ready for when the magic happens. I'm glad someone asked that question.
Yeah.
My goodness, yeah, what am I doing?
There are, I mean, you already answered the 8-slot question, but will there be more research labs, for example, if you're going to have more bots?
No more research labs at this moment in time, no.
Okay. Oh, and a popular question as well. What does this mean for combiners?
So for combiners at the moment, like you will only be able to use a combiner from your own side. Past this, like, you know, it's not that we've made the decision, like we never ever wanted you to have like all the combiners, because clearly it would be very cool. But often when we're developing features, we like to kind of roll them out in a piecemeal fashion so that, you know, it makes it a little bit more manageable for us to develop. It's a big feature, it touches a lot of different parts of the game, and we want to get it out as quickly as possible and see if people are interested and if they like it. And if people engage with the feature, if you like using it, if the feedback's positive, then we'll take it further. Maybe we'll introduce combiners, maybe we'll do some other things with it and take it in a new direction. But to begin with, we almost want to launch with, like, you know, a nice core set of functionality that works, and yeah, let's see if people are enjoying it, and you know, hopefully we'll get your feedback as to what you think of it.
That's right. So if you are just tuning in, today we are talking about Factions, which is the new game feature, game mode coming to Transformers Earth Wars. I can never say it in one go without messing it up. Transformers Earth Wars. It's like a tongue
We could all
twister.
say one word each.
That's true. Transformers.
Earth.
Wars.
There it is. It's releasing next week, as somebody asked and Chris pointed out. So you do have to get up to HQ8 to be able to make use of the feature, but you've got plenty of time. So before next week, if you are not at HQ8 yet, try to get there so you can use that feature. And it means that you will have access to, what is it, about 35 bots?
35 new bots, yeah, you can get hold of.
Yeah.
And that's unique bots as well. We're not talking about the difference between star ratings.
Right.
Once you factor that in, there's you know, well over 100 that you can get hold of.
Exactly. So if you've had, you know, issues choosing whether you want to be an Autobot or a Decepticon, now you can be both.
Yeah.
Which brings me to a fun thing that we're sort of doing on social media, in case you missed it before. Where are we? Here we are. At the end of the trailer, which we showed at the beginning of the stream, basically the whole thing is about being able to play both bots at the same time. And we have uploaded the PNG at the same time to the wiki. And you can grab that PNG and put it over any photo that you have where you're doing two things at the same time. Like this example of Adam. Some of you guys have been asking, where's Adam? Adam is on holiday, but he's here.
He's at the Jar Jar Binks convention, I think.
Oh my gosh.
The Star Wars.
Is that actually true?
I think so, yeah.
Oh no. Okay. Anyways, that's
I might have made that.
Possibly.
I really thought you were serious.
He's a big Jar Jar Binks fan.
The Jar Jar Binks you mentioned. So yeah, we want to see pictures of you guys doing things at the same time, like Adam is doing here. He is rolling a scooter through the studio and blowing bubbles at the same time. It took a few takes to get that photo because he kept falling off. So yeah, we want to see yours. I've put the link in the chat a few times, but I will do it again now. Just give me 1 second. There we go. So yeah, we want to see you guys doing two things at the same time, and then tweet at us at Transformers War on Twitter, and we're going to pick some people to win a crystal from the opposing faction to get you guys started in factions. So yeah, you can start tweeting us now, your pictures and that PNG at the same time, and we'll see what funny stuff you guys come up with.
I can barely do one thing right.
What's that?
I can barely do one thing right.
Oh, I think you're selling yourself short. That's what I think. I'll keep putting that link into the chats, and feel free to share it. You know, anyone who's not watching the stream, feel free to share. Let them know that they can grab a PNG, take a photo of themselves doing two things at the same time, and then post it to our Twitter at Transformers War. and we'll pick some lucky people to win. And there is another way that you can win some crystals, and that is in-game. Right now, there is a newsfeed. It is there where so you can sign up to our newsletter. And once you've signed up to your newsletter, we call them news releases. We sort of give everybody updates about new things that are coming out in the game. There is one of these releasing next week. I think next Wednesday, the next one is coming out. If you haven't signed up via the in-game newsfeed yet, go in there and sign up, because in the news release, there's going to be a code. And if you use that code in next week's live stream, we're also going to do a raffle with that code, people entering that code to win some crystals of the opposing faction as well. So 2 ways that you guys can get your crystals. One, grab the PNG and put it over your photos doing 2 things at the same time. Then tweet at us at Transformers War. And the other, go in game, check out this news feed, sign up for our news release, and next week you'll see a code in that news release that's coming out. And you can use that next week during the stream as well to win some crystals. So, besides factions, which we will come back to again, we'll just sort of keep, reiterating it throughout the stream, just in case there's latecomers, newcomers, all of that stuff. But we actually also have 2 new bots releasing this weekend, Breakneck and Smokescreen.
Yep.
And we've got an event, which is tying these guys together. That's me trying to snipe.
You haven't shot many
Nice.
guns, have you?
What's that?
You haven't shot many guns.
Is
Yeah,
it
you look
reassuring
deadly.
that I haven't shot many guns?
Well,
I think it'd be frightening if I was like, this is how it would go. Like, that would be scarier, no?
I don't know.
Yeah, it would. So yeah, Andrew is going to chat about this weekend's event and give you guys a look at the abilities for Breakneck and Smokescreen, who are the snipers. And he's also going to tell you how we came to the event name.
Sure, why not? Let's talk
Yes.
about that.
But first of all, thanks Chris for giving us that rundown of factions.
No
We will
worries.
come back to you.
Get your questions in. We'll answer them later.
Yeah, exactly. We'll come back for more questions for factions as well. So let me switch over and then you can take it away.
Alrighty. Okay, so this weekend's events, it's called Bit of a Long Shot. It's Smokescreen and Breakneck.
I literally just said it.
No,
like 3
I
times.
know. I stare at bot names like all day, so sometimes it just doesn't process very
Fair
well.
enough. Fair enough.
So this
yeah.
is a prestiging event, so it'll have 60 prestiges, similar format to what we've run in the past, and what you'll be aiming here for here is the tactical crystal. So the tactical crystal contains a chance to contain a 2 to 4 star smoke screen or breakneck, spark, energon, or 3 or 4 star shards. So this is how you will get your breakneck. Obviously, it's an alliance event. Not obviously, but it's an alliance event. It's kind of the most fun where you get to work together, earn the rewards, and then
Can I join your
hopefully
alliance?
That got awkward fast.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Chris. I've seen your squads.
No. So sad.
So we have some nice artwork here of Smokescreen. Chris, would you like to explain the appearance of Smokescreen?
The appearance of Smokescreen. Oh yeah, we did get asked. I know the original Smokescreen is a recolor of Prowl, and he's not in the game. The reason actually for this, because we have been asked this a few times, is because our Prowl is actually pretty different from how the toy Prowl looks. We made some modifications. He was one of the earliest characters we did. And as a result, when we tried that approach with Smokescreen, he just looked quite weird using Prowl as a base model. So we actually made the decision at that point then to go with Jazz rather than Prowl as the base for Smokescreen when we're in development. So if you're wondering, hey, he looks a bit different or whatever, that's the reason. It's kind of we shot ourselves in the foot, I guess, when we designed Prowl, because we didn't really think about the recoloring of Smokescreen at that point.
But we did work with Hasbro to make sure that they were happy with it.
Absolutely, yeah. We tried both options and we picked the one that looked best. So hopefully you're pleased with Smokescreen. He's got a cool backstory as well attached to him. So I've actually got a Smokescreen toy at home. He's one of the few that I've got still up. So yeah.
I don't. So this event is continuing from last weekend's event. If you were following along, those silly little humans, the little flesh bags, have figured out a neat little trick to create a lot of energy using some Cybertronian tech they've scavenged along the way. And First Aid and Reflector were trying to do some reconnaissance. It didn't quite go so well, with Reflector kind of bumbling out of the facility and possibly blowing the whole thing up. So we kind of take off from where we left off with the introduction of Smokescreen and Breakneck as kind of backup for those two, and you can see where the story goes from there. We'll be also kind of continuing the story for the next, including this weekend, 3 weeks. So lots of storylines to come. So yeah, I think I covered the event pretty well. We can take a look at Smokescreen on this account.
Yes.
Take a look.
Tell us about his ability.
I was gonna look at him first.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, they have seen him last week, but people probably missed it. So, yeah.
Why were you showing him off last week? You just take all the thunder.
Because that's how we do things. No, because we had a lot to get through today.
All right. So before he puts his gun away, Adam is very proud of the guns. And
the audience wants new things always.
And Adam insisted that I tell you that the guns are Quasar rifles, like the shifty ones that Swindle used to sell.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So he reached into the lore and pulled out something really great. All right, so let's talk about Smokescreen ability. So Smokescreen ability is execute with an exclamation mark. So I guess I should read it like Adam and be like, execute! So I'll read it out real quick. Instantly destroy a building below 30% health or snipe an enemy bot dealing 3,521 damage. Of course, my Smokescreen is level 45, so he's quite strong, so those numbers will vary. The percentage, I believe, for the execute on health varies by star level. So the higher the star level, the higher the execute threshold goes. You cannot execute HQ. That's probably for the best. I don't think anyone would enjoy having their HQ executed. And outpost bots receive more damage. So it's a very long-range shot. I like the range. Long. It's great. It's very good.
So this is almost a new class of character.
And actually, we are considering it a new class of character.
Yeah.
So within the special class, we are calling these snipers. Right now, there's only 2 snipers. It's going to be Smokescreen and Breakneck. We're going to see how they play, and if snipers are popular or they're interesting, there might be different variations to their abilities that come out in the future with more sniper class bots.
The Trinity Denied asked if Smokescreen can snipe Scourge out of the sky.
No. So we were talking about this earlier. So originally, the snipers were able to snipe bots out of the air. The problem with this was that as bots are flying over other buildings, if you click on the bot, it would often register the building below the bot. And because this was difficult to use and it was unpredictable, we just thought it made gameplay just not great. So it's been disabled.
Yeah, it was great when it worked, but the problem was it was incredibly frustrating when it didn't work.
Yeah.
And when you were using it, if it didn't work, you almost you felt like
Tablet
you wasted.
flip.
Yeah, tablet flip. So it was cool. We'd like to do something like that in the future, but for now, we made the decision. No, we can't release the bot like that because it's just not reliable enough.
Yeah, it was really frustrating. You would tap directly on strafe and just you'd shoot a building with
It's always a risk when you try something new that there'll be some quirks in the initial sort of testing of the feature. So but I think when you actually see these guys, they'll feel very different and very cool. And despite everything we were saying about Smokescreen just being a recolor, in terms of the amount of effort that Adam put into his actual usage on the battlefield, it was vast. So we like to push the boundary somewhere, and with Smokescreen, it was the sniper ability basically.
Yeah, you're gonna see all kinds of great. There's different poses for shooting.
Yeah.
There's different poses for sniping. He's got some great effects. He's got his nice big rifle. So I'm going to jump into battle with Adam. Really stacks out his squad. Like, wow. I'm on Adam's account right now, and he does not.
He doesn't mess around.
He does not pull his punches. I mean,
No.
For
But,
someone that blows bubbles, he takes some heavy duty firepower
He
to
does that
battle,
because
doesn't he? Yeah.
whenever I use an account, I really like to max it out. So
Yeah.
when I'm playing, it'll be more exciting for me. And I think he took some notes from that. He was like, So now whenever he's on the stream, he does the same. He doesn't want to lose on stream. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
all right, I'm gonna. All right, I'll take the recommend. So this is. I'm not as good as Giannis. I'm not as good as Adam. I'm gonna do my best to try and demonstrate these abilities.
Oh gosh.
So one of the nice things about Snipe is
You
that
might want Battlezone 1. It's just that.
Yeah,
on
you
the
Look,
probably
look,
could
scrolling.
get-
it
you scroll
says
this way,
it says suggested battle zone. I'm gonna have faith in Nick, our previous product manager. he set this up correctly and it's gonna give
I
me
don't
a
know.
good
He
battle
left
zone.
for a reason. He's probably like, whoa. I don't know.
So as I was saying, one of the cool things about snipe is that every time you use it, the ability point cost doesn't go up. So it's always 3 points, I believe, to use. So it really does make it like we've all been in that situation where that missile launcher or that beam laser is at like 10% health and you just don't have the ability points to get out there and everyone's running away and it's just dishing all this damage to you. So the snipers are really good at being able to pick off those low health targets. So here we go. I can't decide if I should
Go
talk
on.
about this.
Oh my
Go
gosh.
on.
Go
Not very
on.
good.
You can't go below the suggested battle zone.
I could.
No, you can't. That's not a win
All right.
then. That's like a win.
I've got a lot of 4 stars here. Hopefully it'll make up for my incompetence.
Oh, Hunter's asking, will their basic attack have longer range?
Yeah, so snipers, their basic attacks do have a longer range. It's about 10 to 15% longer. We were doing the rough math because it's got decimal points. We weren't so great at that math. But it was about 10 to 15% longer. But the catch to that is that snipers will not be able to target things over walls. So normally a gunner can shoot over the wall. A sniper will not have that ability, but they will have longer range. Though if you use their actual ability, it will go over walls.
We've added a lot of bots and things to the game that cause, a lot of sort of messy damage across a wide area. So the nice thing about snipers is they can come in afterwards and clean up and target a specific building and remove it from play.
I don't know what to do with this team, so it's gonna be interesting.
Oh my gosh. This is Andrew.
Yep, that's what I'm playing
Snapping the
today.
screen like a maniac.
I realized that I
Hoping it
don't
works
have a
out.
healer, so
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. How's it going over there? So we're using smoke screen right now, and his ability. Have you used it yet? Execute.
execute, yes.
Have you? I don't know if he's used it or not.
I haven't yet because I'm trying to get something low that.
When he does use the ability, it'll destroy a building. Below,
this is
like
going
when a
terribly.
building is on lower health, it'll basically go in and destroy that building.
Oh god, this is awful.
The other thing about smokescreen and the snipers as well is their ability actually scales between star levels. So a higher star level, you get a much stronger version of the ability as well.
Right, so it goes like 25,
All right,
30,
this was a
35%.
disaster. This was a disaster. I knew I should have gone.
Oh,
lower.
that was embarrassing. Shall
It
I
is.
do it?
No.
Yeah, maybe
Let me
you
redeem
don't.
I
myself.
should probably
The
do
problem
that.
is, I think Giannis made a good point when I was talking about it. It was like, it's hard. I need to have a squad that lets me get the buildings to that threshold.
It's
and
hard
I
to
didn't
talk
do it.
and play at the same time.
No, that was just
doing
Yeah,
two
sure.
things at once. I mentioned I
It's just
can't
me
do
being
it.
bad.
I find it very difficult to talk sensibly and play.
It is, because you're like, I need to, wait,
It's a
what?
skill.
Yeah, it
All right,
is hard.
I
It
need
is
a
hard.
healer. I want a healer.
But anyways, whilst he's struggling there, I can read you
Where is,
the lore behind Breakneck that
like a
we've got
jazz.
going.
That should make
Excuse
it
me.
a little easier.
If I can just get my burps out from the cola. Oh my gosh. Oh, nope, that's Breakneck. That's not Smokescreen. Where is he? Everything Smokescreen does is designed to mislead. Good
Ooh.
one. Nothing is what it seems, and every surface action has a lurking ulterior motive. Doesn't sound like an Autobot. Anyways. Misinformation is the weapon he wields to wrong foot and lead the enemy astray. He even uses his affable nature to root out the deepest concerns of his fellow Autobots. He is an Autobot, though. And in car mode, his tailpipe emits a screen of thick black smoke to mask his maneuvers. A true smoke screen. I always like the little bios.
There we go.
They're good fun. We will get to Breakneck as well shortly if Andrew ever manages to use the
Oh,
ability
I
properly.
might not. Okay, I'm just gonna snipe a random building because I can. And phew, see, executed. Anyway, I'm just gonna focus on Breakneck a little more.
Yeah. Let me know when you're ready to abandon that sad battle, and then I will change over here.
This is quite stressful.
So he takes
I
a
know, I
knee
can tell.
and he
He's
shoots.
very stressed out.
Hopefully you'll be more relaxed.
Well,
when you
I'm
play
trying
the
to talk
game.
about the battle, and Dev's just yammering on. So he takes a knee and does a nice little aim shot. It's one of the custom animations for the snipers only.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get something.
Elusive, by the way, I will get to your factions question when we come back to factions.
Tactically, when you use a sniper, they've got high DPS and low health as well. So
Yeah.
really what you want to be doing is protecting those guys. Send in your tanky units early, keep the snipers behind, use them to target a particular building.
Oh, you made it.
Yeah, I managed to snipe one building. I'm just sitting here like trying to get to a snipe,
It's
and
really stressing out. It's
all of
hilarious.
my overpowered melee guys, like Optimus, just
Yeah.
destroyed the HQ on its own. So
Oh, I see some of you guys liking Perceptor, which is cool. Perceptor was a really fun one to chat about because he's a microscope. There were a lot of microscope jokes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know like exactly what a microscope does in the middle of battle. Like if you accidentally transform or your transformation
possible.
cog goes wrong, but
So Andrew's going to switch over and see if he's got better luck with Breakneck.
Oh, I won't.
Sunstreaker Waza
I'll
said,
make someone
oh,
else
it's
look.
embarrassing.
with
so.
Perceptor,
Yeah, it was
we,
terrible.
we were talking with Perceptor, is he actually going to transform? Because, you know, Shockwave doesn't, and I actually really regret now that Shockwave doesn't somehow transform. So I was like, absolutely, let's make him transform. I want that microscope in there, you know?
Get to hacking.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. So if you are just tuning in, we have so far talked about Factions, which is the new game mode coming to Transformers Earth Wars. See, I can't ever do it.
Thursday next
you
week.
have to say
Transformers-
Transformers.
Earth Wars
Wars.
next week. Next week around this time.
Thursday next week.
Yeah, Thursday next week. And
HQ level 8 and above.
That's correct.
It will magically unlock, and it will be great.
We'll give you a little better overview about that in a second once Andrew gets up Breakneck, because we just looked at Smokescreen, who's the new bot releasing this weekend along with Breakneck in an event called A Bit of a Long Shot, a sniper event.
Yeah, so we were talking a little bit about how did we come up with the event names.
Oh yeah, you never answered that.
Yeah, I'd like to say it's
Go
like
on.
a very, a very regimented process, but it's pretty
Uh-huh.
chaotic, and it pretty much involves everyone on the team shouting at each other for an hour
Right.
until, like, I don't know, someone's beaten into submission and we go with a particular name. So it's a pretty loud.
Well, not always.
It's a pretty loud part of the day. Often the
Yeah.
developers, like after they've joined in for a bit, will go and decamp to a separate part of the office so they can get, carry on coding.
Yeah.
I thought I had some great titles.
Yeah.
My favorite one was it
I don't know.
Lemony Snipets and a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, this is the quality I usually get. I'll be like, hey, we're looking for ideas for the event name, and then you get stuff like this and lots of bad puns.
Maybe
and-
we should open it up to players, actually.
Oh, that's a great
That's a good
idea.
idea for the future, yeah. 'Cause
Yeah,
we
I
did
love
that
that.
with abilities, so maybe
And you guys are probably better at it.
yeah,
than
maybe
we are.
getting more Transformer minds against our event names would be good. as well.
Probably a good idea, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Still.
So while
Suspending.
he's powering up, again, if you guys missed it, we're doing a little thing on social, on our Twitter. The handle is @TransformersWar. You can get the PNG of at the same time, which is the sort of end slate in our trailer, and put it over any photo you have of doing two things at the same time, like Adam is doing here. And he's scooting, roller scooting? Is that a word?
Scooting.
Scooting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just scooting.
He's scooting and blowing bubbles at the same time, and we want to see some silly, funny, great photos of you guys doing two things at the same time. And once you have your photo, just send it to our Twitter @TransformersWar with the hashtag at the same time. When you do that, make sure that you include your in-game name as well as your alliance and your faction that you're currently in, because you'll be able to win crystals from the opposing faction. So we need to know what faction you are now so we can gift you guys the opposing factions crystals.
All right, I have to set the
And he's
thumbs up.
ready. All right. Here is Breakneck. You're frozen.
Ah.
I know. So sad. There you go.
Alrighty, so here's Breakneck. He is a sniper, which is a new subclass of special bots. He has additional range on his normal ability, on his normal attacks, less health, but lots of very high DPS. Cannot shoot over walls like other gunners, but has a much longer range. And his ability is Execute, which allows him to deal a large amount of damage, but also any building below a certain % threshold will be instantly destroyed.
Ooh.
Can't target the HQ, does extra damage to bots. So, and as Chris was saying, the percentage scales with the star rating. So I think someone else needs to try and show off Execute this time.
Uh-huh.
It's either going to be Chris or it's going to be Dev. Who wants to?
I think Debs was boasting about how
Yeah?
great her,
All right.
her skills were.
Remember, it's not about winning, it's about showing off Execute. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like,
obviously I could have won if I was
Aren't
just
the
trying
two
to
synonymous?
win.
I would like, I'm the sort of person who likes going into an easy battle zone and having a nice easy win. You know, I don't like being shown up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to show it like on a resource building. I was like, no, who would snipe a resource building? I want to snipe a defensive building, and then nothing happened. So I failed.
Okay.
Here we go, Debs.
You put him in the squad, right?
Oh, I thought you had already set that up.
No, you choose the squad before
no,
battle.
I didn't even check. I thought it was already done.
This is what happens when Adam's away at the Jar Jar Binks convention.
So-
No, he's not in here.
So you're
Hold on.
gonna
Things just going wrong.
So you're giving me a hard time. You didn't even choose the bot
Well,
we're
I
supposed to
thought
be showing
you'd
up.
already set up the squad before, so I just
You
had to
literally
confirm.
tapped past the squad. You
You
would
know
have
what?
had to have tapped.
You need to calm down. Just calm down. Reel it in. Okay, we're gonna keep. Oh no, we should. Oh, no, we
If
don't
you're
have him on this
wondering, by
account.
the way, with
Never
these
mind.
bots, like going back to Smokescreen, if you're wondering why he doesn't actually use smoke, that is explained in the story when you unlock him. So there you go.
Ooh, so something to look
Yeah.
forward to, story-wise.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, this is gonna be hard for me to do, to do both now. Hey Chris,
Hey.
because
hey,
we're
Debs.
running out of time.
Yes.
Whilst I do this amazing battle with
Yes.
Breakneck, who's one of the two bots releasing this weekend, the other name is Smokescreen, why don't you go over factions one more time, what it is, how it works, when it releases, and how they can make use of it.
I'm going to do it much better second time round.
All right, I
So,
bet you will.
next Thursday, Factions launches. How do you get it? Well, you have to be HQ 8 and above. You'll see in your troop grid that a new tab has opened up, which allows you to insert the opposing faction to your squad. When you reach HQ 8, you will get a crystal that gives you your 4 initial bots to get you started. There will be a new crystal section in the store where you can get these bots from as well. You can use your existing shards and your existing cyber coins towards them. These bots will count towards your squad slot places. So essentially you'll end up with a roster which includes way more Transformer characters. There are 35 unique bots that you can unlock through this feature, and actually well over 100 actually once you include all the star ratings. So it's your first chance to basically have one account where you can fight with both sets of bots. And that's coming Thursday. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for it.
Yeah, keep them peeled.
And definitely keep an eye on our social media as well. Like if you've been enjoying our trailers, like the one for Factions really is quite spectacular, I think.
It really is.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Oh no, you guys are missing my battle!
As a big transfer.
Are you serious? Oh, that's so unfair. You won't even notice how good I was doing. That's not okay.
Luckily, we know that everyone will be better at sniping than us. So.
I was doing fine, actually. I was doing a really good job.
I think we're going to need to show this again next week when Adam's back.
Oh, I'm so annoyed now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. Doodles. Oh, so annoying.
Okay.
There's a...
Let's do some questions.
Yeah, there was a question about fuel cells. How does the second faction affect them?
So fuel cells will stay the same. Basically, the idea is you can collect more bots, but it's your choice which bots you choose to play with. So the amount of fuel cells will stay the same.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna...
I like, but sometimes they're just easy to answer, right?
What's that? Oh, will we make it? Oh, I don't know. The laser beam is kicking our
Ask me
ass.
some questions, Andrew.
Kicking our ass. Yeah, you've got the... Yeah, you've got it up. See, it is hard to multitask. I'm trying to... Hey, look at me go! See, I used execute well several times. Unfortunately, the screen was frozen whilst I was doing some of them, but you saw some of them. And I also managed to kill the base in my first try. So,
Good job.
you're welcome.
Good. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I think I did really well. There was another question about... how would this feature differ from having alt faction skins, and is that something that is somehow possible?
What do we mean by all faction skins?
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Elusive, what do you mean? Clarify your question.
All faction skins.
I guess you put a skin on Optimus to make him Megatron.
To make
I think Hasbro would be really angry at us if we did that. Like
Yes.
we wouldn't want to ever like say your Optimus becomes a Megatron. So yeah, if you can give us more info on what you mean exactly.
Yeah, not too sure on that one.
Yes. Elaborate, Elusive. Garrison Hill is asking, so you can only fight as either faction, but have access to both factions.
That's right, yeah. And as I was explaining earlier, the reason why we did that was for reasons of gameplay balancing. Essentially, we've balanced all the gameplay in the game up until this point with the assumption that you'll have a set number of bots on your squad. So if you could, for example, have 4 healers or 4 leaders or whatever it happens to be, the game balancing would get quite strange. And I think, we wanted to avoid that.
Fair enough.
I'll respond to one. It's a bit controversial, but I think it'll be a good one. Great Pack says people would have literally played twice as much if there were Autobot and Decepticon fuel cells. So Great Packs, this is actually probably true. People would play twice as much, but that also means you're playing twice as much. So what the game is designed for people to play at a certain rate. So you earn resources at a certain rate. You bring them back to your base and upgrade at a certain rate. So if you're playing twice as much, you get twice as much resources, and you'd feel like you were never doing anything because the upgrades are designed around that whole rate of progression. So the factions feature is really designed to give you access to collect the whole set of bots, because we've spent all this time making the models and animations and abilities and backstories, and we want to give you access to that without damaging the core gameplay. So the fuel cells need to stay at the same rate to make sure that the economy still makes sense and works.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the sort of the nice thing about having both factions is the ability to see all those bots, to experiment with them in battle, and to also to hear the voices and the theming of the game from the other side as well. Like, really up until this point, you've almost only experienced like half the game, unless you unlock the other bots. So it's a really refreshing experience when you first go in and suddenly you've got access to all this new stuff from your main account.
That's right. There are some unrelated questions to either Breakneck or Smokescreen or factions. I'll take a couple of them. One was, and they said, this is Greek Champion saying, feel free not to answer, but what are the chances of Combiners I assume they mean Victorian, or Predaking will be in the game in the near future?
I mean, I think Combiners have been really successful and everyone's really enjoyed using them, so I don't think it's crazy to think that there will be more coming in the future.
You're not crazy.
Absolutely not. You're definitely not crazy. I'm slightly crazy, as you'll attest to. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like, we're always looking at more bots that we can do in Transformers, and you know, if you can think of a Transformer in your head, it's probably being discussed, and we've hopefully got things coming that will even surprise you, and maybe you think, we didn't even think those guys would do that. So there's loads of stuff coming this year. I mean, a lot of it I'm really excited about, but as with all things in development, stuff is often like, we're starting work on things behind us out there, and they probably won't be seen for like another 4 or 5 months. So I don't want to kind of do the thing where I get really excited about them now and then, I don't know, it feels like a long time until they actually come and they're
I'm part of the camp that's rooting for Predaking as a Decepticon player, and I see the if you Google Predaking, like, some of the artwork for him is just like so cool.
Yeah.
And I know he's going to be amazing when we
absolutely, he's one of the best looking combiners.
Oh yeah,
I think,
he looks amazing.
I mean, you know, I'm an Autobot player, but I do think the Decepticons have the best set of combiners.
They really do.
You've got Bruce,
they're better.
They're just cooler.
So Elusive has explained his question.
Already?
What's that?
All right.
I thought you said already. I was
No, already.
Alrighty. So he's saying that some of the bots are very similar ability-wise. So the only things that differ are the skins. So if we can't say use Strafe and Scourge on the same team, how would this differ in unlocking those different bots? Because sometimes the abilities are similar. So, but I think
that's right. I mean, there are a lot of similar abilities in the game. That being said, you know, the chances of actually you having like every single bot on a particular side are pretty rare. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I think you can reach a point in the game where you want it to be easy to get some new characters. And I know where I am, like, if I can suddenly tap into a whole new crystal, and every character I'm getting out of it is brand new, that's a great experience, and I'll have fun experimenting and enjoying those characters. So yeah, you might get some that are a little bit similar and have similar abilities, but we are still pushing the boundaries, I'd say, with everything we're doing with characters. And like, for example, the sniper class that we've just introduced, even though we didn't demo it that great today.
I think I did a fine job.
Even though we didn't demo it that great today, they are awesome characters with like really interesting new gameplay abilities. So everything we're doing, we're trying to add something new so that things don't get too samey in terms of how the bots are used in battle.
Oh, here's actually a good question. So Suter is asking, what about Gnaw?
What about Gnaw?
What about Nor? Will he be there on both sides? So, Andrew, will he be there on both sides?
So we were literally just discussing this. We had a conversation. I don't remember what the outcome of the conversation was.
Oh, perfect.
I think
That's a good question. For sure.
I think the likelihood is that he probably won't be there on both sides in the normal sort of
So
crystal.
Gnaw isn't available in any other crystals. Gnaw is only available
Yeah.
through events, and we've kind of communicated this by having Gnaw only available in events. But this is probably the first time we've officially said that Gnaw will only ever be in events.
Yeah.
And so
Apart from the 5-star crystal,
Right.
And he's in that.
But that's because 5 stars don't make sense in events. So he's
So
only ever gonna be in
essentially,
events.
at this moment in time, there is no way to get Nor on the opposing side, really.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
We'll probably have a re-talk about this to make sure we're all on the same
Yeah.
page.
A retalk.
Yeah.
Re-talk.
But all the
Sounds amazing, a
storylines.
re-talk.
I'm scared.
All the storylines with events, there's always lots of Sharkticons, or at least they're hinted at. So, there's the Shark Boost, and there's Sharkticons coming out of the space bridge when people dial in the wrong coordinates. So, potentially we have room for more Sharkticons, but since that is Gnaw, he is Gnaw,
I mean,
which is a name bot.
Let us know what you think. My inclination with this one would probably be not to give everyone 2 lots of Nor, just because I think it's too many Nors. But let us know what you think.
True.
You might say Gnaw to too many Gnaws.
Okay. Those are the...
Good.
That's the
I'm
level of...
glad we
shooting
managed
and
to
expect
kill
here.
that conversation.
So before we leave, I'm going to reiterate the fun ways for you guys to get some crystals from the opposing faction. The first way, let me go back to this. The first way you can do that is by sending in a picture. I'll put the link for the PNG in the chat. If you don't have it already, grab it now. Share it with your friends. It's the at the same time PNG. And once you have that, throw it on top of any photo you have where you're doing 2 things at the same time. That's what we want to see. The way that Adam is blowing bubbles and riding on a scooter here, we want to see you guys doing 2 things at the same time. The weirder, wackier, the better. We love that stuff. Within reason. And and then make sure to tweet us on our Twitter at Transformers War with the hashtag at the same time. And make sure that you include, can't stress it enough, your in-game name with your tweet, as well as your alliance and the faction that you are currently a part of. Otherwise, if we're trying to award crystals from the opposing faction, we don't know what faction you are, you might just get a crystal from the faction that you're already a part of. So make sure you include in-game name, alliance name, and the faction that you're currently a part of, and tweet at Transformers War. We'll pick your favorites. They'll win some crystals. And if you want another way that you can get involved, it's with our in-game newsfeed. We are going to be sending out a newsletter, which we call News Releases. Next Wednesday, I believe, it's going to go out with some information about factions, sort of and everything you need to know. But in there as well, there's going to be a code that you can use during the live stream on next Thursday. And once you put that live stream in the chat, we're going to do a little bit of a raffle, and we'll also be giving out crystals that way from the opposing faction. So, 2 ways that you guys can get your crystals. One is, of course, through this newsfeed that I just talked about. So go in game now, it's live, you can see it and sign up to our newsletter. And the other way is to grab the PNG that I've been spamming in the chat. I'll do that again, make sure that you share it around. And we want to see your photos.
Good stuff, yeah. So
Yes.
Thanks everyone for taking the time to join us and listen to the features, and hope you enjoy playing the game next week,
All that
especially when some
good
of this
stuff.
stuff comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure that you tune in next week, because next week is when the feature is actually going to go live. So we'll be back here to chat about it again in case you missed something. And you can ask us more questions. I know we didn't get to everything because, well, we can never get to everything. That's why we do this every week. So it's true. So yeah, make sure that you come back next week. Factions, win your crystals, sign up to the newsletter, and we want to see your photos as well. And I did say we were going to do shout outs to alliances. So before we go, send us your alliance shout outs now, and then we're going to wait for the delay, and then we're going to do some shout outs. Well, we can do them in fun ways.
I love all the requests for bots.
What's that?
People just randomly shouting out bots they want. We have so
give
many
me
cool
this,
bots.
give me this. I know, it's amazing. The what we can choose.
I mean, that's the great thing
Great.
about the Transformers universe.
Yeah.
Much as I'd love to have everything in the game, it's will we ever get there? There are so many bots. there's so many variations of bots. It's just vast.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we picked the coolest
Fast
one.
it is.
Yeah. There's still plenty of cool ones.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we've got some coming in. We've got Predacon Central. Shout out to you guys. We got Bad Boy Bots 2. We got Cali Bots. I don't know if you want to grab some from
Helix
from
Gardens.
All Spark Knights.
Ooh, nice.
Primus Ex Machina forever.
Cybertron CA, Cybertron NWO.
Primes
Nice.
of Anarchy.
Very nice. We've got the guilds.
Shout out for the Aussie Alliance.
Shout out to Age of Extinction. Sons of Unicron, also.
Mega United.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah. Shadow Dancer, Maz Ruckus, and Red Crush.
The trick with this is trying not to read the rude names. It's a bit like when Bart Simpson rings up the the thing and sort of gives the funny name over the phone.
I read them anyway.
My
It
eyes
doesn't
aren't
matter.
even that good. Are they?
Axelon and Darkseid.
Ghosts of Prime, Talos. Ladies Man 217.
Virus Reborn. Sounds ominous.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. Scares me, that's for sure.
Helix Gardens.
Cobra.
Earth's Deadliest / Cybertron Command Family.
Non-Toxic Gamers.
Cyber Seekers.
Dreadnought Army.
Sesame Street. Come on, really? That's awesome.
Apocalyptic. What is up? PF. Pokehex. Spectre Prime. Grindbots. 40.
Illuminati.
And Zed.
All
If that
Spark
isn't the
Knights.
lion's
Hello. Who else we got? Laser Prime. BC. Headmasters Inc. Cybertron Lords. Lots of you. Got Lost Lighters. Hostile Takeover. Kitty Nation. Wet Kitty Nation. I don't know. Bacon. Primus with many S's.
Lots of people telling us the names of the Dinobots.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
You guys should call Hasbro.
They just like changing their names a lot.
Yeah, true. Rebel Warriors, Death Strikers, man.
Mass Destruction.
Mass
Alright.
destruction. We'll end it on that.
Let's quit this before I read something rude out.
Oh, I
Yeah.
usually do.
Okay.
But that's okay. If it's actually their name. It might not be, but we don't know. So anyways, thanks so much for tuning in this week. We hope you guys get excited about factions. Bring more of your questions next week when the new game mode goes live. And make sure that you sign up for the news release in-game. There's a news feed, so sign up there. And we want to see your pictures of doing two things at the same time tweeted to our handle @TransformersWar. And both of those things will give you a chance to win some crystals from the opposing faction to get you going in factions.
Good stuff.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much, guys. We will see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
I was plagued by indecision. It pushed my heart into the black. I was looking for forgiveness. I'm tired of looking back. I was kissed under